Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Pradesh Dayalan from Singapore. I'm a Microsoft certified trainee as well as a community lead in the Singapore user group. Thanks all for joining. Karan, I just walked it. I just saw heard a session. It's been fantastic. For the first time, I'm hearing this out from this about the accelerator, automated accelerator. It's really interesting. I have to really try. Okay, guys, we move on to the next session, which is the unit test cases for the D365 and Power Platform. So before we start, I would like to ask you a question. So how many people are you from tech and have a regular habit of writing the unit test cases in your projects? Just a quick.
Now
Uh, a quick poll. Yes, yes, would do good. Just type yes, no, if you have already done, so that I can prepare my session. Oh, thank you, Arjun. Yes, thank you. Sumit. Yes, thank you. Asay. Yes, thank you. Shanu Raja. Yes. Bhavani. Okay.
So glad to see many names.
Yeah, it's really glad to see. Actually, people don't have an habit of writing the unit test cases, which is like an especially the projects from IPAC regions, and I dare to say this because we don't have an habit of writing unit test cases.
And also for joining the meetup, the weekend.
Yeah. No, okay, only one no. That's good. Okay, so yeah, okay, thank you all so much. Okay, I'll just move ahead. Uh, Thanks for your inputs. So this is about me. You can, if you want to connect with me, I have a LinkedIn link, and then the Twitter ID, and then my blog ID. If you want, you can connect with me later. So today's agenda is like introduction to unit test cases. I see most of them have already have an habit of writing unit test cases in your projects. So we try to keep it more advanced. I hope we have not done this, and also for the one who have said no, we try to keep it like as reachable to everyone. Agenda is like to give the introduction to unit test cases and several unit test case frameworks, framework providers. So actively, there are like two XRM framework providers which I know. One is the XRM unit test case, and another one is like a fake XRM. Both people mostly will use fake XRM unit test cases by Jody, who's in Microsoft MVP. With all due respect to him, yeah. And then also XRM unit test cases. Unit test is another XRM framework, unit test casing framework, which is done by Darren Lieber, and it's also a fantastic unit test case frameworks. You should try also that. We'll be seeing that as well. Yeah, and also about the in-memory and the real-time unit test cases, we can see like what is in-memory and what is real-time unit test cases, and then also exploring the real-time unit test cases. The problem mostly what we would have is like writing unit test cases in a memory in-memory thing, which the fake XRM usually offers you to write an in-memory unit test cases, but not allowing to integrate with the real XRM service. So what happens is when you write on unit test cases, which is like an in-memory unit test cases, but what happens when it just integrates with another plugins in the system? So there's always a question. It just gets passed in the Visual Studio, but when it gets to the real world, right, in the real environment, there's some issues may pop up. So the real test cases will help you to connect with your CRM and then get data, create data there, and then provide lighter unit test cases, do the asserts, get it passed, uh, and so that no, you don't miss the actual the real test case. Yeah, sometimes so what happens is we write it in cache and the in-memory test cases, which runs good in the Visual Studio, but when you push it to the real world, right, it gets a lot of problems. So this will help you to write real test cases which interacts with CRM, create records there, and then give you the response as well. Yeah, we explored another framework which is which is for a quite language there, which is written by Darrell Laber with the XRM unit test cases, unit test it is. So we see about that as well. And also the QA session, we see the QA session, what are the questions we got. Okay. So why unit test cases? Yeah. So as people are, many people are already writing the test cases. So yeah. So we are already concerned with the functional correctness and the completeness. So we might some functional scenarios, and we might miss some basic validations. And so these things has to be handled in your code because when it goes to the deployment, these things may common to come. So writing unit test cases can really avoid those kind of things. Error handling, of course, yeah. When you write, there are a lot of null validations and a lot of basic validations needs to be done in your code. If you fail to do it, you can put in a test case and then you can get the results. You can always be confident about your code. Your code won't break. And checking input values as well. So you can check with the various type of input parameters and then check your code how it behaves. Basically, a bug-free code you can write with the proper unit test cases. Write as much as unit test cases, and you can find the code coverage quality. If the code coverage quality is good, yeah, then your code is good to go. You have enough number of test cases to find your code, bug-free code. And correctness to the output data, you can always, if you have any integration side, you can check your output data from it. And optimize algorithm and performance, obviously you can check like what is the runtime it takes to execute a test case, and then you can fine tune it as much as possible. And it helps to overcome with the faster debugging, faster development, better design, excellent revision tool, and reduce project cost. So for a project like which runs for a long time, right? If we work on projects which runs for a long time and there is multiple deployments, post deployments, and after live we have to maintain a system. So all these scenarios, right? This unit test case will really help you. You can always put this in a CI/CD pipeline. If you have already using a CI/CD pipeline, you can put it inside the CI/CD pipeline and then execute it before the deployment to another environment. So you can run it quickly and then check like what's the result for the code coverage and what's the result for the unit test case. If the unit test case all passes, your code is good. So it's good for the deployment. Likewise, the regression testing tool, it's one of the best regression testing tool in terms of coding. It can help you a lot in terms of a bug-free code, a bug-free environment. Yeah. Some of the guidelines to write the test cases: keep unit test cases small and fast. Keep it as small as possible, and then write it in a minimal amount of code. And unit test cases should be fully automated. I don't want to bore you with theories, but still I'll run through quickly. Unit test cases should be fully automated and not interactive. So there shouldn't be any manual input required to initialize unit test cases. Yeah. So as I said, when you put in the CI/CD pipeline, you need not need someone inputs to give it. Keep it as simple as possible, and then keep it fully automated. No interaction, no manual intervention should be needed in case of you're putting in CI/CD pipeline or the basic level of even if you're doing in a Visual Studio, you just try to avoid any manual intervention. Measure the testers. Yeah, you should measure the testers by the code coverage. Code coverage is the one area where you can check like, okay, what is the code coverage I have for all these test cases. So if your code coverage is more than 85% or 80%, yeah, you can confidently say you have enough number of unit test cases. Okay, let's go to the demo. That's all I have. The PPT. I don't want to bore the PPT. Let's go with the simple one for the one who have not simple one, which is like writing a test cases with the help of XRM Fake EC. Okay, so I'll just give a walkthrough of how I have structured my source code. So plugin, I have like a basic like a two plugin. One like set account number. Set account number. It just sets the account number for the child accounts. Okay, it's a very simple functionality. Whenever an account is being updated, so what it does.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can you please zoom in a bit?
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, better.
How about now?
Too much you can.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. Hope everybody can see my screen. Okay. So. Just a simple plugin. A simple plugin is like set an account number. So on an update of an account number, all the child accounts are also will be updated with updated with the telephone number. All the child records will be also updated with the telephone number. This is sorry, this is not the one. Yeah, this is the one. Set account telephone. So when a telephone number has been updated in a parent in a parent account, all the child accounts, the telephone number will be also updated. That is one plugin. Another plugin is set account number. Set account number, it just randomly sets the account number the system for the account you create, but it checks only the system to set the value. Not any user can set it, because we have an automatic random number generation logic which just generates the number and then sets the value. It doesn't allow any user to set it. So if there is any parameter, incoming parameter with account number, we just throw an error saying like, no, it should be set only by the system, not by anybody user. These are the two basic plugins I have taken. Let's see how do we write a unit test cases for it. Okay, so I have, this is the plugins, and about this is the fake XRM. Okay, first we see this. This is like an in-cache fake XRM test cases, which is like the normal test case we used to write with the help of fake XRM EC. So I'll just ping you the URL for the fake XRM EC so that it's everybody can know like what I'm talking about. This is one of the popular fake XRM framework people use to write the code. Okay, I dropped in the chat. You can just refer what I'm talking about. Yeah. So this is the So what I've done here is like I'm writing my test case first test case. Okay, so there is three parts in the writing a test case. So first part is like arrange, second part is like an act, and third part is an assert. So arrange is where you all prepare your data, and then the next part is the act. Act is where you call your action upon, what action you should take it on. Like for in our case, we should call a plugin, so we call a plugin there. And the next action is assert. Assert is like what do you expect out of the action. So those things we write in the assert. So for the set account number thing, I've written a test cases. Why don't I try for I'll write a new test cases for the. Okay, I create a class now. I'll write a test cases for the set account phone number for the child entities. Okay, I'll just for the time purpose, for the time consuming, I just copy some of the things from here. I just tag it as a text class. Play. The test method, you should declare a test method, as you know. Write a test method. Just a minute. We try to write for the first scenario. Let's pass like a valid scenario. Set account. Valid data. Let's try to the valid data first. Okay, first thing is like arrange. Next is action. Okay, let's arrange. First, let's try to build a context. Context. Let's call it new XRP context. XRP context. And let me try to build some data. I'll create a parent account and then some child accounts. This is I'm using a late bound thing. If you want, you can use the early bound as well. So I'm using a late bound in my code. So yep, we have the parent. Let's try to create a child one now. We don't have the phone number for this, but what we should have is like the parent account ID, and parent account ID is nothing but the parent account. So yeah, I have a parent account and I have a child account. I'll try to initialize the data using the fake XRM context. So this is this will keep your data in local. So okay, so we prepare the data. Next, we prepare the data. So next thing is to get the. Okay, what is that? Yeah. Okay, I'll get some of the basic things for the getting the execution context for the plugin execution context. So yeah, it is faked context. Yeah, it is 20. It is update of account. And then primary ID is like parent account. Stage is 40. That's what I have given. So 40, and then parent account ID. Yes. Okay, let's call the plugin now. So I am calling plugin now. Place plugin. See what context dot context dot. Let me keep the target here. I just forgot to keep the target. Yes, the next one which I missed is the input parameters. So yeah, I can get some piece of correction. Target is nothing but the parent account is the target for me, and then Yes, I have set the account. So next is to execute plugin with child telephone. This is my plugin. So I refer the plugin class inside my in-cache fake unit class. So you can see the reference I have added here is the plugin class I referred here. Okay, and yep. Okay, we go ahead. The execution context is just past execution context which I built. Cool. So what we have done here is yeah, we have initialized the parent account and the child account, and then we have initialized the data. We have created the execution context, and we have set the target for it, and we have called a plugin. Next is to check what is the output of it. Yes, we see this time. Since it's a fake, so get service dot okay, retrieve child account. I am just retrieving my child account. I want to check like what happened after my update. What is this error? Yeah, okay. Okay, so I go to my assert now. I want to check assert dot is true where my for time purpose I'm writing it as bit dirty, but you can follow your own way of writing it. Is equals yes will be equal so child account which is the telephone one. We have done. So this is the assert. Yeah. Okay, let's quickly test how it works. So I've just prepared some data, initialized the data, and I've just faked my execution context, and then I put it in the input parameter, and then so I just called my plugin. My plugin, what it will do is it will get the telephone number from the parent account and then try to set it to the child account now. So let's see, it should have done by year, and I get the entity from here, and then I check what is the value. If the value is same, then my code is good. So you can write as like for many validations, like the null validations or all the validations, but I'm just for the sake of demo purpose, I'm just writing for one valid scenario, but you can write as many as you want for all the code coverage and all other stuffs. Okay, so my text explorer is here. This is a fake one. So yeah, here it is. This is the one. This is the guy. So I'm trying to run now. Let's see what I get. Perfect. I think it worked. Uh, Hope it worked. Yeah, we checked R equal. So this is how you write for an in-memory thing. Okay, so this is a very simple example I'm giving to for the people who have not tried before. So this is like a basic thing. How do you write a thing? But you can extend this with all your business validations and all your null check code validations scenarios. You can try with a lot of scenarios, and then you can run using a text explorer. Okay, this is one part. So far, I think it should be okay. If anything, you can drop a ping. I'll try to answer your questions later. Okay, so moving on. So the next part of the thing is like using the this gets interesting where using the in-memory thing. Okay, so I'm using the same framework, which is the fake XRM thing, but I'm doing here is the same plugin. What I'm doing now is like I'm going to use the real-time integrate. I mean, real instead of putting it in the initializing data and in cache, right? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to connect the CRM, I create data there, and then perform the action here. Execute the plugin. After executing the plugin, check your assert, and after checking your assert, you just clean all the data which has been created by this fake assembly, this test case. Okay, so here this is my. Hope you can see the screen. This is the fake XRM organization data test. So here I have the unit test case for the accounting. I have already written in terms of considering time. I have just already written this test case. So in this test case, yeah. So in this test case, what I've done here is like before that I have to explain. I'm using okay. There are several kinds of test providers. One is the default Microsoft test case provider, and there are another one is like NUnit or XUnit. Lot of test case providers are there. You can use any of which. For this project, I have taken NUnit because I use NUnit for much because I feel like NUnit is much more comfortable than the Microsoft test provider. So they have their own kind of decorating tags for the test case classes. Text fixture the text class, and one-time setup is like whatever things you want to set up one, you can do it here. It will run only once before it's even executing your test cases. This executes your one-time setup, and then it just execute your test case in the order whatever order you specify here. And yeah, let's see like how we have done connecting to the system and then creating data in real time. Okay, so what I have now is the data generator. So this is a data generator class. So in this data generator class, this is the method, which is like an abstract method I'm using. So whenever the runtime setup method runs, it just picks this generate data method. What it does is just create all the prerequisite for me to run this test case. You can see. Okay, I like to show the plugin test base as well. This is my own test base. So the test base, what I do is like I just connect with the real-time context instead of a fake context. Last time we see we used the fake context, but this time we use the real-time context, and then I get the organization service. I use the shared variables. Shared variables is like across one test case method to another test case method. If you want to share some variables, right? The real-time data you create, those variables you can share across using the shared variables. Data generator, this is the data generator method, and then the generate data will generate data for you. So I go into this method which I have written for this example. The example is like account data generator. So in order to execute my plugin, I need parent account, I need some child accounts as well. So you see I've created a parent account. and I have created some child accounts inside it. I've created like around three child accounts inside it, and I have added all these things to shared variables for the purpose of getting all these variables and to use it inside the unit test case. So what is this add delete object is like I told you. So after you're running this, I mean these are like test data. So the test data when it's there when in a real time I mean, real organization, example the production or the UAT whatever it is, if it leave a lot of unused data and the junk data. So in order to avoid that, right? So you can use this add delete object method. I have written this in order to clean all the data once create all the data inside the system, and after performing your test cases, either it's a pass or a failed test case, you just add this object inside the delete object. So how do I delete is like so these are the delete object. I have the tear down method inside my plugin test base. So I have like one time tear down. So what it does is it just deletes all the data which I've created during the test case thing, and it just deletes all the data. So I go back to the data generator class. So my data is there. Before my test case gets executed, what it does is it just goes to generate data method. It just prepares all the data for me, and once data is prepared, it just puts in a shared variable for me to use, and then it just adds an object for me to delete after the execution of the test case. So this is there, and let's go to the test case and see how it looks like now. So this is the one-time setup. So in this one-time setup, I just call my data generator, which will create the data for me. And next is the test method. So inside the test method, you can see I'm just calling my shared variable, getting my shared variables, what else required for my plugin to execute. So inside this, I say like, okay, I just pass. So we need a parent, an update operation. So just update this parent account with this phone number now, and then I prepare the fake execution context. The context is ready. Once the context is ready, I just call the and it set the input parameters as well. The input parameter target, I've set the parent, and the stage I've set. The message is there. All fine. I'm just calling the same plugin now. I'm calling the same plugin with the execution context. So now after completing, what I am checking now is I'm going and getting from the real CRM, retrieving all the child accounts from there, and see like all the child accounts are equal to null. But it shouldn't. It should ideally fail because the positive scenario would be this is the case. So I'm just updating with the because we are updating and it should update as well. So yeah. So this is check with valid data. So I'm just checking this method with valid data. And output in the text explorer. So the method, the class is project is XRM fake XRM org data test. So I just expand, and the test case is valid data. This is a test case. So I just say we'll debug once, but I'll just run for now. Okay, it just failed for some reason. What is the reason it failed is like what it says. Okay, there is a small spelling mistake here. So I go to the data generator class now, and I just update with parent account ID. So yeah, this is the mistake. So I'm just updating my code now, the data generator code. I test case. I go to the text explorer, and then now I try to run now. As I told you, we'll debug one more time, but we'll test and see like what happened. Here's another problem, invalid random. What type of attribute? Oh, okay, my bad. To entity reference is the right one. You can see it's trying to get connected with my CRM, and then it's trying to create the data, create my test data inside it. So the build is complete. Let's try to run it again now. So yeah, so you can see it is now validated and it's good. Let's try to debug now. Okay, there's one debug. I'll put the debugger in the data generator as well as the setup thing, one-time setup. I said debug, right? No. Yeah, so it goes to my setup method. In the setup method, it just gets the connection string. I've stored my connection string inside my project, and it gets the connection string, and then it connects to the CRM and get the organization service, initiates the shared variables, initiates my data generator, and then it starts to generate data. Where you can see it just goes line by line, executes the prepares data whatever needed for this test case to be executed. This I think this is stuff. Okay, yeah. So it's created the parent account, creating the child account now, and so I'm adding to the delete object because once it executes, it has to delete from the CRM. So I'm just adding to the delete object. So once added, I have so this will go to the test case. So in the test case, first is the parent account. I am assigning with a shared variable which I've created in the CRM. This is a parent account and the 3 child accounts for it. Setting the parent account with the telephone number, and I just execute the plugin. Okay, it's calling my plugin. Okay, let's finish it off quickly. Okay, inside this method I have written my logic to execute. So it has completed, and yeah, so now it gets the data from the CRM. It gets the data from the CRM where you can see the data is should be there. Yeah, the telephone number it gets updated. Okay, it's all good. Yeah, so now it has completed it. Likewise, you can write it as cases. So I've just given one example for the valid data. You can write as many test cases like what I told you for the validations and null checking inside your code. Okay. Then you have time. Dharani? Jiva, Dharani?
Hey, yeah, to this. So we are actually a little overrun. We are a little overrun about like 12 minutes, but that's okay. If you want to take additional 5 minutes, it's okay.
I think I'll stop. I'll go for the QA. Fine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So far, yeah. If you have any doubts, you can see. Let's try to. Let's try to use the same screen. Yeah. So any questions you can ask. Well,
Yeah.
Guys, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask Pradesh if there's any question. Come on, at least ask a few questions and give him some troubles.
Yeah, guys, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions, or else you can put it in the chat window. That is also fine.
okay, I consider. Okay. So far, no.
No, actually, Shanmu Raja here. Actually, I want to give trouble to Pradesh.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah.
Pradesh, the presentation and coding was very good. Actually, we doing current project, and we have a user story of around 5,000 something user story.
Okay.
The major concern is we are not able to spend much time, Pradesh. Actually, the testing is very important. I don't have a second thought on this. Okay, but doing this type of unit testing, writing coding for that, checking business logic or something, it is requires a lot of effort, and as well as it requires a developer. It's similar to
I come from what you I can understand what you say. Okay, so this is like a discipline we should have, right? When we write a code, we are careful that we are careful enough, like we write commands, we write a proper coding structure, and we also see a lot of things. And definitely, I would say like your code will be not bug free for the first time you write. You definitely have to debug once, at least once, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
At least once. Yeah. So you can use this method for debugging as well. So I initially had the same problem of writing this unit test cases, but what happened is initially I stopped using the install profile or any kind of other debugging tools.
Okay.
So what I used to do is I just write to valid data. I just put all the data inside it and then write one test case for it. At least one is there. So one test case is there, and I try to debug it. So once debug is complete, right, I can debug the code, and inside the plugin I see like what's error, what causing error. I fix all the code. Then I try to spend additional like 3 or 4 minutes to write additional validations, whatever is required. So I would say like the strong step we can take is like stop using the profilers and make use of the unit test cases. That's how I changed myself from moving from started writing unit test cases. That's it. I mean, it's like a discipline, right? Dharani can talk on more on it. I think Dharani has a long habit of doing this.
No, actually, Pradesh, actually, I have a doubt. Okay, this is the only way we can do, because in real time, in practical time, we don't have enough time to develop the actual requirement. Okay, currently we are facing that one. Actually, we don't have enough time for actual requirement, but doing this stuff, it's needed. I don't have a second thought, but any other way to overcome this? Actually, I'm thinking of that daily life. I used to think of that. Any way to overcome this, or any other way to test such plugins, or that is my question actually.
No, see, the one way is like, while giving your user story estimation, you need to come up with the estimation for the unit testing also. And also, as part of the CI/CD pipeline, also you can write any unit testing framework, and you can hook the unit testing framework in your CI/CD pipeline, so that whenever it builds it, then it will build it and it will give you the proper results actually. If it is past the unit testing, then we can make that build as a succeeded, and we can back it into a package.
Oh, fine.
Hey, by the way, sorry, talking about CI/CD pipeline. So I already received feedback that few of you want CI/CD for next session.
Jiva, we lost you, Jiva.
from the box.
Yeah.
The next session, please. And you can also post a message in the WhatsApp also if you can't be here. So we will plan that one. And
Okay, I think Arjun have a question. Why don't we hard code the GUIDs inside the system? Yeah, it's a good thought, Arjun. But what happens is, right, when you move system one system to another system, right, the problem will come like the hard coding data will fail. So it's better to use not hard coded data. There can be scenarios where there is a lot of dependent data. So what you can do is you can prepare the data and keep it in the system. If you want the system it to be environment free, right, then you have to find an approach where you don't hard code the GUIs inside a test case and then try to run it.
On top of what Pradesh said, yeah, we can hard code the data only for the master data because that will same for across the instance. But whereas for the transactional data, we will not be able to hard code it. The GUID varies from instance to instance.
Arjun, your voice is breaking.
Yeah, and another one question is like nowadays MS is tracking and is concerned about the hits to the CDS database. So number of the database to the CDS database through service calls and APIs. So they are tracking. So will there be any impact if we write a real-time unit test cases for unit testing? Because there we will be directly hitting the databases, right? For example, if MS going to restrict tomorrow, they are going to restrict to 1 lakh or 2 lakh hits per day, then will there be any problem? And just need to know whether we can take up. Hello.
I mean that's a good question. It's purely depend upon I think it's the business decision whether you want to go with the business. See, the advantage of having the real one is like it just interacts with the real CRM, not with the faked one or the in-memory one. It can give you the results more accurate than the fake one, but it's purely a business decision. If you feel like you don't have enough API calls, you have a lot of code and it needs a lot of real-time test cases to be executed. So yeah, it's purely a business call. It's purely a
Yeah, I can understand. Thank you so much.
Guys, if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask your question, or else you can put your question at window.